All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid Done right here on Rapid TV. And my name is Martha Alu. You can call me Martha Martha.
And of course, I am Victor Arke. Welcome to the 9 o'clock hour. And thank you to Emmanuel and Eva for the sports updates.
Always thanking them. But anyways, thank you too for the sports updates. 9 o'clock hour, what we do typically is have the very big conversations right here. And every single week, of course, we try to bring you topical issues, which are both very educational and entertaining. But today, it is a bit of celebratory and educational yet again, because this is something that has been pushed for many years now, and it's a welcome development,
It is.
to be honest. How do you feel about that? Let's not tell them what it is, but how do you feel about
I
that?
think it's good for it. I've told you my position a long time ago. It is a good thing that it's being considered. And in less than 4 months, or say in about 4 months from now, it's going to be passed into law, what we're going to be talking about. So, yeah, by the time we let the cat out of the bag, we're going to extensively even talk about it even more.
All right. Today on Health Tips, we gave you suicide prevention keys. Right, we helped you, we intimated you on some of the important things that you need to do to help people, to identify people that are contemplating suicide and how to manage the situations. Now, to have that conversation extensively, we have the Program Associate of Nigerian Mental Health, Ms. Deborah Omage. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's so good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad being here today.
Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning. Thank
You're
you.
quite passionate about the mental health space. Let's hear where does this stem from?
My passion stemmed from two things. Basically, one, lived experience,
Okay.
and the second, just interacting with young people around me, what's going on with them, and the fact that I had a supportive system while building up this interest.
Okay. All right. Now, to start with, congratulations, because this is like a very big milestone. How do you personally feel now that suicide is no longer criminalized in Nigeria?
So we it's still a criminal offense, but we're making progress. I feel great being that I'm someone who has attempted in the past as well.
Ooh.
So it's almost a full circle moment for me, being that I've been there, and then now we're working towards ensuring that it's no longer a criminal offense in Nigeria.
Okay. But there was
It's for December.
what was for December?
That's
Okay.
in December
Okay.
2025, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still in talks. There's significant progress
Yes.
there. All right.
And of course, you said your interest stemmed from like personal experiences, having conversation with lots of young people out there. With those conversations you've had with lots of young people, what have you learned about some of the causes of suicide?
So you can't say there's one cause. It stems from different things. It can be the environment. It could be the struggles a person may be going through. It can even be underlying mental health conditions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Such as?
Such as depression, such as anxiety, and the other common ones like eating disorders. You can't just say one thing. Sometimes it may be built up stress with the underlying mental health conditions. A number of factors can bring about suicidal ideation in a person.
All right. According to report, over 800,000 deaths is recorded globally. And Nigeria actually has the largest in Africa when it comes to suicide death. Of course, you mentioned the fact that there are some of these causes, the depression, all of that. And yeah, looking at the economic situation in our nation, this also leads to a lot of persons getting depressed. But in these situations, what do we need to do as Nigerians to ensure that when we see someone that has these symptoms, or individuals as well that are considering all of this, what do they need to do to avert it?
Okay, first of all, the first place is knowing the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
Suicide is preventable. You start with recognizing the signs and symptoms, de-escalating the situation, basically letting the person know that you're there for them, and most importantly, don't leave them there. Try to reach out for support while you're still with that person. It's important that you're there in that moment and time, and then the professional can take it up from there.
Okay.
So basically, as an average person, you should be able to de-escalate the situation, provide first aid, or at least try to just calm the person down while you reach out for professional help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. For many years, attempted suicide has been treated as a crime rather than a health issue. So with this progress, what does this mean for individuals? What does it mean for Nigeria and health practitioners?
Okay, so with a national suicide prevention bill being passed, what it means is that we move from the point of it being a criminal offense to a public health point of view, meaning now there would be the aspect of prevention, meaning people will have more access to support, meaning there would be proper surveillance of the health space when it comes to attempted suicide, monitoring and evaluation, trainings for the professionals. That's what it means.
What it means. Okay. When this was talked about, you know, the prevention bill, and that it was going to be redressed in December, a lot of people were of the opinion that what's the need to decriminalize suicide, because a lot of people will now commit it freely anyways, even though you are from the standpoint saying that this will help more people open up, you know, and talk about what they're going through and what they intend to do to themselves. Now, do you think this decriminalization will reduce the stigma, or there are still deep-rooted issues, cultural and social issues that needs to be addressed?
Okay, yes, for one, it would actually reduce the stigma, that's for certain. But at the same time, we still have to treat or discuss or take care of the underlying mental health conditions, including how we view mental health altogether. Because before a person gets to the point of, you know, suicidal ideation, there are these underlying conditions that they cannot even speak up about. So that has to be treated alongside suicide decriminalization.
What about the deep-rooted other social issues that lead people to silence, and cultural issues? How do you intend to deal with that?
So for a while now, we've been preaching about the fact that when it comes to mental health, treating mental health as a whole, looking at it from the public point of view, it's not a silo kind of thing. All institutions have to work together. So to actually address the stigma that is in the system already, organizations, including the faith-based institutions, the school settings, the legal system, everyone has to work together to ensure, first of all, the public, there's intense mental health education and awareness for them, and then also training of the professionals. So once people actually get to know, okay, this is real, this is something that can happen to anyone, it lightens the situation.
But if you look at it, the stigma is still very much strong in many Nigerian communities as it is. Like you've talked a bit about it, but help our audience understand as well, how much of a barrier does this stigma actually pose as seeking for help when it comes to mental health issues?
Okay, so with the stigma, what happens is that, first of all, a person would not be able to speak up, because one, the person will be afraid of the criticism around them, afraid of judgment. So the person wallows in, sometimes depending on how deep or how profound the condition is, the person just sits there in a state of hopelessness, not knowing who to talk to. So this is another aspect of the stigma. Because of the stigma, because one, they can't speak up, two, they don't even know where to go to for help. And so they are just stuck there. They're not moving forward, they're not moving backward, they are just there. Some other times they result into using negative coping mechanisms that also compounds other issues to it. So that's just it all in all.
You talked about not knowing where to seek for help, and truly these are things that Nigerians need to know. So let's quickly jump into there. When someone actually has these symptoms, where do they seek for this help?
Okay, there are a number of organizations people can reach out to. We have helplines too that people can call. You know, seeking help is actually in stages too. Depending on the level of the stage at which the condition is, it can be self-care, self-help, where, you know, you just do exercise, you just eat better, you rest better. And then if it's more than that, depending on, you know, knowing the signs and symptoms, how it occurs in yourself, like recognizing to yourself helps as well. So you now know, okay, maybe at this point I need to talk to a professional, I need to talk to a psychologist, a counselor, a therapist. And like I said, there are organizations that help with these things. There are quite a number of civil society organizations, even faith-based organizations. There are helplines. Nigeria Mental Health actually has a curated list of helplines and a mental health directory, which we launched earlier this year.
Okay.
So people can actually access it at www.nigeriamentalhealth.org. Under the page Mental Health Support, we have the helplines there, as well as a mental health and rehabilitation centers directory for people that may like in-person support.
Okay.
Now, beyond passing this bill, because we have seen many times where bills are being passed in the House and it doesn't scale through, what can Nigerians do? What can other institutions do to ensure that this bill passes? More like, let's come together and support that this bill passes through. What can be done?
One, it will be to support our petition. So we have an ongoing petition.
Okay.
The campaign we're running for this is called #SuicideNotCrimeNG.
Okay.
And you can find it at www.nigeriamentalhealth.org. We have a page called #SuicideNotCrimeNG. What Nigerians can do, one, is to join the other thousands of people who have signed the petition to sign it. Secondly, they can read the translated versions which we have of the suicide prevention bill. We've translated it into Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and Pidgin, just so you know people can have more access to it. So whether you want to read it in English or any of these local languages, they can read it, they can share with other people, and also the media can help, like also what we're doing, for example, now. Yes. And finally, the policymakers too. Yes, the bill went through its first reading in February of this year, and we're hoping for it to have its second reading before World Mental Health Day in October. So we are urging the policymakers as well to, look into it, read the bill. Like I said, it's found on our website. Discuss it. Just, yes.
You made mention of the fact that, in fact, I find this so interesting that you were able to interpret this bill in 3 major Nigerian languages and the indigenous pidgin that we speak here in Nigeria. Why was that so important to you?
It's important so that every Nigerian can actually know their rights, understand what's in the bill, and also help preach the message of suicide prevention as against the criminal offense it is right now. So an average Nigerian, whether you're in a village or you're in the city, rural area, urban center, you should be able to read it. You should be able to understand what's there because it's for you. That's why we did that.
Mental health education is vital. I've seen some countries actually that are integrating mental health education in their schools, workplaces, and all. And very recently, there was a revision in the curriculum here in Nigeria. I'm not so sure that mental health education is part of those things that was revised in it. But don't you think it's going to be important as well to include the mental health education?
Yes, most definitely. We believe so, and we have been following closely with that. We actually we looked at the new curriculum. We saw, first of all, kudos to the government. Yes, indeed, it's good we have a new curriculum, but a vital thing missing there is mental health education. Yes, we saw elements of drug abuse education there, but the more holistic thing would be mental health education. It's quite important because we believe that you should meet the youth population where they are, and they basically spend most of their time in the school setting. Averagely 16 years of their life would be in the school setting. So why not meet them there? We should meet them there rather than when they're already at the point of a crisis and then we meet them in the hospital. We are a large nation. Africa as a whole and Nigeria is majorly made up of the youth population. So definitely we believe mental health education should be included in the curriculum for quite a number of reasons. I can actually go on and on why.
But we need those reasons as it is. I think sometimes the government needs to have that nudge, right? But again, beyond the government, why is to giving out the reason? Also look at how organizations can also include the mental health education.
Okay, so organizations are actually doing their best in terms of awareness, but we need to move to a more sustainable way, and that's why we're saying mental health education should be part of the formal education system, part of a formal curriculum. So the way they're being taught English and mathematics, they'll be taught mental health education, and with that they can easily note the signs and symptoms in themselves, because again, statistics, if you look at it, 1 in 6 adolescents would have developed a mental health condition by the age of 14. Where would you find these 14-year-olds? In schools.
Okay. Today, surprisingly, we made mention of
Self-care.
the statistics.
Okay.
No, not even the self-care, the statistics she just made mention of.
Mm.
And today we had a new study. Scientists have discovered that about, let's just say, largely children who handle smartphones before the age of 13
13.
or at the age of 13 seem to experience some mental breakdown and instability. Do you think that this is also a major part, plays a major part in the mental health of children?
Oh yeah, so technology definitely has its ups and downs, whether for children, for adults, for anyone.
Okay.
So yes, technology plays a role in the mental well-being of a person, whether they are stable, whether they have, mental health is on a continuum from stability, good, great mental health to the point of needing help or the point of being in crisis. So yes, most definitely
health.
plays a role.
Okay. I also noticed that you do a lot of advocacy in different parts of Nigeria, different parts of the world very soon. Now, did you notice any difference in how each community interprets conversations about mental health and suicide?
Oh yes, most definitely. Whether nationally or internationally, actually,
Okay.
there's a difference. I would say I would not mention the specific states, but in some northern states they actually appreciate it more.
Okay.
So it's more like, oh, we are an organization. We do this. We want to educate the young population, or want to educate your people, and they're excited. They help. They pitch in. Oh, how can we help with this? How
Okay.
can we help with that? But in some other regions, it was like, once they had mental health, the next thing, I'm going to
Madness.
demonstrate how exactly the person did it. Like, oh, madness, right? I'm like, really? So definitely they interpret it in different ways, but then again, you can't blame them. The knowledge that they have, what's existing with them, and that's why we are also pushing awareness. It would help in how they think or the lens through which they view mental health altogether.
In this part of the world, because when you talked about this mental health and the way people actually view them, talking about madness and all of that, there is always the myth that if someone gets down to a psychiatric hospital, then that person eventually is mad. And so there are a lot of persons who stay away from going to the psychiatric hospital. Could you help us maybe explain better why it's important for people who basically have mental health issues to visit the psychiatric hospital? And is it a place where mad people reside?
Okay, no. First of all, no, it's not a place where mad people reside. And in terms of receiving mental or psychological help, it depends on what a person needs. That's actually what determines if the person has to go to a facility or not. So for some mental conditions that stay at the light stage, they may not necessarily have to be checked into a facility.
Right.
They may, just go in and out, outpatient care. Sometimes it may just be, they have therapy sessions here and there. But then again, there's some others depending on maybe, for example, psychosis. The person may have to be put in a facility just so they can watch the person for a period of time, ensure that the person recovers. So definitely it's important. It's important because, it's better that they're in a controlled environment where they have access to the professionals rather than being left on the street, or some being kept at home, locked in rooms where they don't receive the help that they need, and then the situation just generally gets worse rather than seeing a professional which would help the situation.
According to statistics as well, it shows that men die mostly, by suicide, and we also have many women who also attempt suicide, also in Nigeria. Why is this so?
That's a tough one, if I must say. But I would say, a man has so much to carry, whether we believe it or not, so whether we like to agree to it or not. He has to provide for the family, has to go out, do this, do that, a whole lot of factors. So the thing with it is, yes, we have actually more women attempt, or more men push through. Yeah, so
More women attempt and more men push through.
Well,
Wow.
sadly.
So They always say they talk, they don't have action. So you just proved it now. Okay. But yes, Nigeria is a very religious and cultural nation. And while we understand the fact that the government is going to do what the government is going to do by passing that bill. And I think I asked this question earlier. There are some communities that have a deep rooted culture of shame, right?
Yeah.
Where if a person even talks about committing suicide, they might execute the person, ostracize the person, or treat the person in a certain kind of way. How do you think that this advocacy can get to these communities and help them change their mindset and how they deal with matters of suicide and mental health?
Okay, so first of all, it's not a one-person thing. It's a communal effort. It's something that everyone has to play a role in. So what can be done is, one, the key stakeholders in those communities, we have to get to them. Civil societies, not necessarily Nigerian mental health alone. Civil societies who are part of the fight for mental health, a better mental health space in Nigeria, can actually interact with these communities. Sometimes the best way to go about things like this, especially when it has to do with local communities, would be to get an insider there. So you have to educate them, make them your friend, and then the community members hearing from their person actually helps the situation. So education, honestly, when it comes to mental health, stigma, trying to reduce stigma, trying to push for suicide prevention, it always starts with awareness. It always starts with education. So educating them is the first step, and then afterwards breaking down the other things that they need to know.
Well, it's talking about mental health is really something that I don't think we're going to exhaust this, because lots of Nigeria, we need this education nowadays. You've started talking about some of the practical steps that we need to actually carry through, when it comes to someone breaking down in mental health. But let's go back to the science again, right? Because family members, friends, most times we need to help detect some of these signs, some of the signs to also help the prevention of it. So could you just give us a list of some of the signs that we need to look out for to know that this person, is suffering from a mental health situation or even considering suicide?
Okay, so when you talk about mental health condition, general signs and symptoms that you may see is changing patterns. Sleeping too much, sleeping little, eating too much, eating too little, being excessive worry, anxiousness, withdrawal from social settings, social gathering, and just keeping to themselves. Now, specifically when you talk about suicide or suicidal ideation, you can see it in their behavior, in what they say. Sometimes they start making light jokes like, it's better if I'm not here, but they might it under a joke. So, everybody should just laugh it off. Sometimes they start giving out their personal belongings, things that they hold dear themselves, yes. And also just intentionally putting themselves in harmful situations. So maybe, for example, now they know that, a vehicle is moving, they should not cross the road now, they should wait. Intentionally, they may jump into it.
Wow.
Yes, just those are some signs and symptoms. And then taking up risky behaviors, maybe now using drugs, taking in alcohol.
Exactly. Like you talked about mental health first aid, right? What are some of those first aids that we could administer to someone once we've seen some of these signs and symptoms?
Okay, first of all, mental health first aid starts with knowing the signs and symptoms. So once you know the signs and symptoms, you have to listen to the person without judgment. Okay, first of all, again, you actually know the signs and symptoms of you, or you've seen them. You actually have to ask.
Okay.
It's not okay to assume. You actually have to ask. But then again, you don't go with force. Gently. Okay, is something wrong with you? How are you feeling? I think then it comes to the point of listening to what the person has to say. And then in that conversation, if they are aware of mental health or their mental state, they may actually disclose that I have depression. I think I'm depressed. I think I'm anxious. And then the next thing to do would be to provide immediate support. Okay, maybe if the person should break down while you're listening to them. Again, importantly, while listening to them, you do so without judgment.
Okay.
Yes. So afterwards, depending on the situation, okay, can I get you professional help? Okay, can I sit with you while we try to contact a professional? And then in the process of just trying to de-escalate the situation or calm the person down, you reach out to support that you can get for the person. So whether it's maybe if there's a counselor close by, if you have the contact of someone that you can refer them to, sometimes it's not best you call on their behalf. You ask them, do you want to?
All right. So you need their consent.
Exactly.
Share with us some, because you've been on this advocacy for quite some time. Share with us some breakthrough stories, that you've encountered in this process.
Okay. So one breakthrough story that has sat with me for years since I started in this space was a few years ago, through words of encouragement, basically, someone reached out. We used to do some writing around mental health, put it on social media. And so, just relatable stories from other people. Oh, okay, this is how I've been feeling for the past 1 week. We compile it, we put it out there. And so the person reached out just, following through. And then the person reached out for actual mental health support, someone to talk to. She mentioned that she had been thinking of suicidal attempt for quite a while. And all we had to do at that point in time was to keep reminding her that we are here for you. We see you, we understand you. Where are you at the moment? Is there someone close to you that you can speak to? No, she said no. And so we linked her up with someone that she could speak with. And, over time, literally every year she still texts to say, I'm happy that we met the year that we did, because of that meeting, because of that single post that you made online, I'm alive, I'm still here, and I'm thriving.
That's amazing. It's amazing to know. But yes, I'm reiterating the content of a lot of people that says that decriminalizing suicide will make a lot of people take the step. If you were asked that question directly by someone who is contemplating, what would your response be?
I would say no. Believe me, when someone is attempting, thinking of it or about attempting, their thoughts is not, I'm going to be in prison or not.
Let me just get away.
Let me just get away. So decriminalizing it would actually help in the sense that it will break the cycle of stigma. So people would be able to speak up.
But are they even willing to speak up? Because just like you said, they're not, when they want to commit suicide, they're not even thinking about what you think.
Yeah.
They're not even thinking about anything at the time. So why decriminalize it? Don't you think more people would say, you know what, whether I talk about it or not, it's no longer a crime, so let me just get ahead with it?
No, I think if you decriminalize it, it would actually help with help seeking. Now, why do people not speak up?
Okay.
For a number of reasons. For someone who is aware of the law, they may not want to speak up because, okay, I think if I speak to a professional now, what if the police is outside waiting for me? There are two different points of view to this.
Yeah.
For another person who is not even aware of the law, they would be, okay, right now, law or no law, I think I want to go.
Okay.
So it's just the point of view. But basically, decriminalizing attempted suicide would, one, help with help seeking. People would be able to speak up more. And generally, it would help break the stigma. Now, there are people that, in Nigeria as it stands, a whole lot of people die annually from suicide. But it is underreported. Some families, people would die of suicide and they just keep quiet about it. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, the person just slept and never woke up. Sometimes they would say the person was just ill. If you ask what illness, they would never tell you this is exactly what it was.
Yeah, they don't actually say. Absolutely.
It may be suicide that might have caused the person's death.
Okay, so what other policies? Because I know that we're in a country, Nigeria, even the laws that are clearly stated, people don't go through with it. But we need precautionary measures. What can the government do? What policies can be put in place to ensure that people don't constantly, or people don't even commit suicide? Because if we are, I'm sure that, I'm thinking that the reason criminalizing it came about in the first place is to prevent people from doing it. That's what I'm thinking. Now that we are moving for decriminalizing it, what other policies can be put in place?
Okay, so I'll start by saying this. When someone is sick, physical illness, do you take the person to jail or you take them to the hospital?
To the hospital, obviously.
Suicidal attempt, where does it stem from? Having a mental condition. So why punish them for it rather than taking them to where they need help, where they can seek the help that they need. So in terms of policies, what can be done is, for example, the National Suicide Prevention Bill that we're talking about.
Okay.
It moves from a place of punishment to a place of care.
Okay.
So now suicide prevention as a whole, being able to provide support for the people that need it.
Okay.
That is what it does.
Those are the policies.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're half of the hour already,
Yes, we are.
and it's time to catch a breather. Let's go out, and when we get back, we'll keep up with the conversation. All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid Dawn right here on Rapid TV. Of course, we're way into the hour of 9, and of course, the conversation for today is gradually winding down. But we have been talking mental health, and it's super important that these conversations are put out there regularly. You heard our guests, we have to talk about it just so
Right.
that more people are aware and more people do not fall victim of these things as well. Of course, we have been hanging out with Deborah Omage, the Program Associate Nigerian Mental Health. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute delight.
awesome.
All right, let's on to the next, because when we're pushing for one, we don't set a goalpost there.
Right.
We move on to something else. Looking ahead, what's your vision for mental health reform in Nigeria after the decriminalization? Because I believe that in December this will be sorted out. A country
Hopefully.
should hopefully, because a country should care about the mental health and the well-being of its people. So this is something that brings about the change of you. And surprisingly, there's this conversation I always have where people are saying the future of work, the future. I think I've said it here many times. When we say the future of work, we oftentimes refer to, we are in a country that is shifting from manually doing things to digitally doing things. While we are trying to catch up with digitally doing things, there's now AI, we're trying to catch up all the time. So the future of work is just like making sure that you are up to the trends and up to par with all of these trends. But the future of work really is in the stability of the people that do the work. Because no matter how many reforms come about in the workspace, the people that do the work also will find it difficult to catch up. And when they cannot catch up, it poses a threat to their mental stability. So after that, what next?
Okay, so for us, what we see is after the suicide prevention bill has been passed, the next thing would be implementation.
Okay.
And in terms of implementation, it entails a number of things. That is now the whole suicide prevention thing. If you read the bill, it's clearly stated that there would be a 24-hour helpline for people.
Okay.
We would have proper structure for suicide prevention. There would be trainings for people. And yes, that's basically what it entails. So now it would be implementation from the government, from other civil society organizations, just basically everybody working hand in hand. And most importantly, Nigerians knowing their rights, so they know this is where I can go to if I'm harassed for this. If I need to speak to a counselor or a psychiatrist, I know this is where to go to. I can easily open up that I'm feeling like I'm having suicidal ideation without fear of judgment or fear of being fined or being sent to jail. Yes.
Okay. While you have made mention of that, today on the headlines, we read about the new curriculum. And one of the concerns that was raised from that headline was the fact that you are bringing up a new curriculum, but we don't have teachers that are
Trained
skilled enough,
teachers.
or trained teachers that are skilled enough to teach these skills that you have included in the curriculum. It's one thing to set up these centers. What's the plan in training mental health professionals to assume that position or occupy that desk?
Okay, so in terms of training can be, for example, training does not necessarily have to be for the professionals alone.
Okay.
It can be the teachers in the school. It can be the staff in the workplace. It can be generally, in terms of training too, bringing counselors up. For example, they may have the basic knowledge, but in terms of suicide prevention, in terms of specifics when it comes to mental health, they may not know about it. So what can be done for training, or what we are looking at is, there would be national trainings. We'll partner with other organizations from the mental health department. Another reason why we're pushing for the creation of the mental health department, so that they can coordinate efforts in relation to, things like trainings, things like general awareness sessions for the public, putting together civil society organizations and the likes to join efforts, because again, the government can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
We all need to work hand in hand to ensure it works.
All right. Now, with the rise of social media, there have been so many effects. Some good, some actually not too good. When it comes to mental health and suicidal thoughts, there is cyberbullying, and then most persons actually bully people using the cyberspace. There's been some campaigns as well too that's gone through using the cyberspace. But looking at the rise of social media here in Nigeria, do you think that the social media in Nigeria is a better tool to help educate the people and also help prevent suicidal thoughts?
Yes, it can be used as a tool. We just have to put in more efforts. I mean, everybody's online, or let me not say everybody,
Almost
most
everybody.
people, yes, are online. So yes, definitely, we can use it as a tool for prevention. Interestingly, on some of the social media platforms, people actually speak up that maybe, for example, by tomorrow, if you don't see me text, you should know that I'm not here.
Right.
And they actually try to find that person and bring the person out of that situation. So to some extent, there's understanding of these things, but we need to do more. Like actually break it down for people. Yes, some people may know this term or that term, but they may not know where to go to, who to approach. Okay, I see this person has texted or typed something out. Who do I reach out to? Some people, again, would just make fun or light of the situation.
Of course.
So definitely social media, the digital space can be used to improve mental health for people. It can be used to educate and equip us with tools for suicide prevention, mental health first aid, general knowledge, a whole lot of things. But we need to focus on that and let the people meet the people where they are.
All right. I was talking about meeting the people where they are in rural communities. There's a limitation of professionals in those communities. And I know you've talked about the fact that once in a while, or sometimes they get down there for outreaches. But it might not be there all the time. So what can be done practically and realistically to ensure that those in the rural communities, are really attended to when they have issues concerning mental health and even suicidal thoughts?
One would be to meet their faith leaders where they are.
Okay.
So in every community, every look and cranny, whether I think of it, whether I accept it or not, there must be a faith leader there,
Right.
because we're a religious society. So definitely we have to meet them. We have to educate them. Also create referral pathways. Okay, if a locale should meet the faith leader, for example, the faith leader can, do the most that they can and say, okay, you know what, I'm referring you to this place, to the professionals. And also the integration of mental health into the primary healthcare system. Now, in the primary healthcare system, I believe it's in every ward. Yes, so if there are services there for these people, yes, it's already mentioned in the Mental Health Act. The issue is it implemented? So if it's actually implemented, everyone, regardless of whether they're in the rural setting or in the urban setting, they should be able to access at least basic mental health support.
Okay.
All right. Do you think Nigerian justice system is ready to move from punishment to how do they call it, to protection? Because realistically speaking, why Nigeria, we're still lagging with basic healthcare.
Right.
We still have basic healthcare and counseling overstretched. Do you think we're prepared for this change?
That's a tough one because I'm not in their head, I'm not in their mind. But I think it's possible to convince them. It's
Okay.
possible to let them know that, okay, this is what the people are saying. This is the viewpoint of the Nigerians who you make this law from.
Sure.
I think you should listen to them and make it happen. Again, that's why we're pushing our petition. Okay, join us, join thousands of people to ensure that it's no longer a criminal, suicidal attempt is no longer a criminal offense. In Nigeria, it can be found on our website, www.nigeriamentalhealth.org.
But you do know, I know this is like this. But you do know that it's possible to have these facilities and they still don't function. I'm saying this because there's a gender desk in the police force where it is assumed that when a girl is raped, she can go to the gender desk and report. But I was doing a study one time and I realized that these people even get battered on that gender desk much more than anywhere else, because they go there and then they start to say things like, you went there yourself, now you're saying that they raped you. My friend, get out from here, you small get.
Unprofessional behaviors. you say.
unprofessional behaviors. So how can you handle this? Because this is a complete overhaul of the system where something is being criminalized and is now called protection. Do you think the system is willing to accommodate this change? Because it's one thing to pass the bill. They can pass the bill and it's still not, even if they implement the bill, it will still not be efficient in the system. What checks do you have to ensure that, okay, the government has done its part in passing this bill to law and implementing this bill, but we need to ensure that at the different levels where these things have been set up, people are efficient and they're doing what they need to do.
Okay, so that is why, again, I would say the creation of the mental health desk within the department within the Federal Ministry of Health.
Okay.
That is where it will start from, because they would be focused on coordination.
Okay.
So in terms of surveillance, in terms of monitoring and evaluation, in terms of trainings, everything that would have to do with suicide prevention, everything that would have to do with mental health altogether, they would take care of it. It's really vital and important that that department is created to coordinate efforts nationally.
Okay.
Let's talk about maybe families that have lost, family members to suicide. How can society provide better, post-vention support for them?
One, it would be don't judge them. They didn't know. Most times they didn't know that this person was going to attempt or the person was going to pull through it. They didn't know. So provide community support. I mean, don't go about pointing hands. Oh, that family, that someone, this family A, that someone, family B, that someone did this. Rather be there for them. I think communal support, community support really helps.
Right.
So yes, they found out that this is what happened. This was the cause of death of this person. Reach out to them. Or how are you feeling today? Is there anything we can do to make you feel better? In such cases, the most help or the best form of support you can provide immediately is to be there for them.
Right.
To help them see that no one is judging them, to help them know that yes, they can pull through that point, because the family would definitely be grieving. And so basically just make them know that you're there for them. Don't try to judge them or stigmatize them because of what have happened or has happened in their family.
All
All right.
Yeah.
Now I think we're winding down. So if you had the message, if you have to give a message to someone listening directly, because you said you made a post and someone reached out to you, so you never know. These things get farther than you would think. What would you say to them?
Okay, I would say first of all, you're not alone. It's okay to be there, but it's not okay to stay there. And help is available, support is available. Reach out to someone if you don't know where to go to or who to talk to. There are helplines, there are physical facilities that you can actually reach out to. We've curated a list at Nigerian Mental Health. Visit our website www.nigerianmentalhealth.org. Under the page Mental Health Support, you can reach out to someone there. There are verified lists there, so definitely someone will be there to attend to you. Also, I would say join us in our fight to ensure that suicidal attempt is no longer a criminal offense in Nigeria, because it would not only help you, it would help the next person that may be right beside you.
Right. Just a quick chip in, because you've mentioned the website over time, and there are so many websites that will reach that, and most of these people on the help desk, they are not very much available. How available are you guys really on your website?
Oh yes, we are very much available all the time.
I'll try you guys.
Yeah,
Tonight we try you. So anyways, thank you so much, Deborah, for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
All right, let's clock it back to myself and my guy in the studio. Now, I understand that this conversation is super important, and it should be important to you as well. While I'm pushing for mental health stability, I'm also pushing for self-awareness, because I feel like if people are aware of themselves, they know when something is wrong with them and they can't handle it. You don't have to handle it on your own. That's why, of course, there are helplines. But self-awareness moves the fight to a place where you are fully aware of what you're going through, and then you can seek for help. Just like malaria, some people never know when they have changes in their system. They manage it until it deteriorates and it gets very bad and they cannot do anything at all. But when it comes to mental health, it's also as important as when you know that there's a change in your system. You hear people say, when my neck starts talking like this, it's malaria. You know, while that might
Personal
not be
symptoms,
like,
yeah.
yes, while that might not be like a very accurate thing, but at least you notice that there's a change in your system, which means you know now that you need help.
Right.
So self-awareness is super important in the fight against mental health deterioration.
And of course, see this self-medication that we also do whenever you're ill. When it comes to mental health as well, self-medicating might not be the best way to do that. It's important you seek help. I guess I talked about it a lot. There are helplines that you need to reach out to and ensure that you seek help. We're hoping that by December 2025, that suicide attempt is going to be decriminalized in Nigeria, which now means that you can actually talk without the fear of being arrested,
being
without the
judged.
fear of being judged, and also without the fear of being fined. And I think it's really important that we all need to make that move in ways possible and pay attention to your society, your community. Pay attention to your friends and family members.
Absolutely.
And please, as much as possible, talk to people. Do not lock it up inside of you. I can tell how much we can help somebody out there.
Yes, we all need a helping hand. And this brings us to the very end of Rapid Dawn for today. Remember, we are active across social media platforms, which means you need a click, you can follow, like, and pretty much subscribe.
Right.
On Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok is at Rapid TV. On YouTube, it's at www.rbnradiotv.com, which you can click and follow us everywhere. Live on YouTube, it is at Official Rapid TV. Until tomorrow, my name is Martha Alu.
And I am Victor Ake. See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.